Sophie and the Ark of Emonglia. Chapter 2. Max Scruff Smells a Rat. Sophie sat in the alien meadow, her beloved bear dog Max resting quietly in her lap. Thea's account of last night's events was extraordinary, yet somehow compelling. She listened carefully, working to piece together the ghoul's frantic jibber-jabber into a coherent narrative. "Wait, let me get this right," Sophie said, her voice tight with disbelief. "You abducted Max to find a missing artefact from your planet, and I ended up here accidentally because I tripped and fell into the same turtle spaceship?" She stared at the ghouls of fear and rationality inquiringly. "Correct," Rationality confirmed, its toga-clad golden form floating closer to Sophie. "Though abducted implies a greater degree of force than was employed, Max willingly chased the call-out team into the intergalactic turtle Cocoa Pan." Sophie clenched her fists. "Willingly? Your team broke into our home in the middle of the night," she snapped. "Perhaps," Rationality agreed, its tone dripping with indifference. "Why him?" Sophie asked, the knot of anxiety tightening in her chest. "It's Christmas Eve, and—" She paused, choking back a tear. "Max is the only family I have left." Rationality seemed unmoved. "An object of great importance, the augmented reality component, also known as the Ark, has been stolen from the council chamber. The Ark is paramount to the continuity of both Emonglia and Earth. In the wrong hands, it is capable of great harm. It is, therefore, imperative that the Ark is located and returned to the council chamber at once." "That doesn't answer my question," Sophie pressed. "Why Max?" "We needed an outsider," Rationality replied. "A confirmed innocent, someone from Earth. To avoid breaching the ban on association with a human, this individual had to be an animal. Max, a brave and loyal canine, fit the profile perfectly." Rationality tilted its top corners towards Sophie. "Which brings me to the next, rather pressing point of business. Your presence here violates the rules. You must leave Max in Emonglia and return to Earth immediately." Sophie recoiled. "You expect me to abandon Max on an alien planet on Christmas Eve?" The thought of Christmas alone filled her with dread. She imagined a life without Max by her side. The silence in her home, the emptiness on her walks. After the death of her parents, Christmases had been quiet. Just her and Max sharing a mince pie and watching cheesy holiday films. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. Their little tradition. Their hard-won peace. "Absolutely not," she blurted. "Rules, drools," Max growled, stepping in front of Sophie protectively. "Surely saving the Ark supersedes the ban. Besides, 2 extra sets of eyes is always better when tracking a thief." "Your logic has merit, canine," Rationality conceded. "Under normal circumstances, I would agree, but we are being watched." Rationality pointed to a small, red-breasted bird perched on the Crossroads of Eternity signpost, its sharp, beady eyes fixed on Sophie and Max. Sophie hadn't noticed the bird before. "What is this?" she asked. "All Crossroads of Eternity teleportation devices are monitored by video surveillance nuthatches. They are what on Earth you would call a CCTV, Rationality explained. "If it's surveillance you're worried about," Max offered, "we can always stay under the radar." "Impossible," Rationality objected flatly. "Take your time to process the inevitable," it urged, nudging Sophie and Max deeper into the meadow. The turtle cocoa pan will collect Sophie as soon as you have said your goodbyes." With a final flick of its corners, rationality turned and floated back to the crossroads of eternity signpost. Sophie's chest tightened. "Max," she whimpered, "what are we going to do? I can't lose you." "Don't worry, lassie," he said, a goofy grin spread across his face. "I won't let anything come between us, especially nowt I can chew on." A rustle in the vegetation caught Sophie's attention. Max stiffened, his ears perked, a low growl rumbling in his chest. Scuttling in the tall grass towards them was a horde of rats, each the size of a badger. Sophie grabbed Max's collar and froze, hoping to remain undetected. But the longer they waited, the more rats appeared, until they were surrounded by an army of sharp orange teeth. "They're huge," Sophie whispered, her heart pounding wildly. "I've eaten bigger," Max growled, his fur bristling, though never as filthy, and rarely by choice. A fetid stench filled the air. Hundreds of rat eyes, glistening with morbid curiosity, stared at Sophie and Max from the tall grass. Now, what's this?" lisped the fattest rat in the pack, its belly wobbling. "Visitors, I see. Don't be shy." "Leave," Max barked. "We've no time for riffraff." My, someone's a grumpy pooch," the rat leader lisped, twirling its greasy tail. "Oh, I'm not grumpy," Max growled. "I'm in full pest control mode, locked, loaded, and ready to call." Sophie's heart hitched. They were surrounded, outnumbered, and not in a position to fight. Diplomacy was their only option. "I think we started off on the wrong foot. I'm Sophie, and this is Max," she ventured cautiously, hoping to diffuse the standoff between the animals. The rat squirmed through a pensive pause. "I am Rattus Rattus Mus Maximus, head consultant of Emonglia," it said after an agonizing silence. "And this be my loyal colony of highly skilled amateurs. It's nice to meet ya," it added to a chorus of sycophantic chuckles. "You get it? I said mice, when I meant nice." Sophie forced a smile. "And what exactly is the nature of your business?" she asked. "Consultant. We con and insultants. Get it?" the rat snickered. "I dabble in comedy, but the real calling of the pack is advisory work. Specifically, any service beginning with R and ending with tin, from reconstruction of events that haven't occurred to retribution for acts that haven't been committed." Max rolled his eyes with a growl. "We don't need none of that, Porky." Now, the rat cautioned, its voice taking on a sharper edge. "Don't speak in haste, pup. You know so little about this place." It plucked a blade of tall grass, slobbered over it, and held it out to Max. "A calling card, should you ever find yourself in need of our services. Or," it added with a chilling grin, "want to see more of my delightful comedy." Max didn't flinch. "Do I look like I have pockets?" "Suit yourself, pun intended," the rat chuckled, unfazed. "It was nice to meet ya. Ha! I did it again. I'm a hoot." With a high-pitched squeak, Rattus Rattus Mus Maximus signaled its troops to disperse. Sophie let out a lingering sigh as the last of the monster rats disappeared into the tall grass. But her relief was short-lived. Rationality's words, cold and absolute, echoed in her mind. "You must leave Max in Emonglia and return to Earth right away." How could she possibly leave him here, surrounded by ghouls, giant rats with teeth like daggers, and whatever else lurked beyond the tall grass? She pictured him lost and alone, those soulful brown eyes filled with fear, his playful gait replaced by a desperate scramble for safety. A tear rolled down her cheek, then another. "What are we going to do?" she mumbled, clutching the bear dog's burly frame. "I think we should stay and hunt down the Ark," he replied, licking the tears away, his wet nose nuzzling against her cheek. "Last Christmas I ate potpourri mistaking it for dog snacks, had the runs, and watched you knit a stocking. This adventure could really spice life up, Soph, in a fun way, not the clove potpourri kind of way." She stared at his carefree, goofy grin. But what if something bad happens? What ifs and buts deter and bind, a playful heart, a curious mind. But sense and trails a world brand new, beg to be chased by me and you. Max woofed, his tail thumping excitedly. "Come on, Soph, thou knows this is going to be fun." "I wish I had your confidence," she murmured, searching deep within herself. If only she could be more like him, bold, fearless, so carefree in the face of uncertainty. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the meadow, swirling around Sophie and Max. The air shimmered with an eerie golden light, shrouding them in its glow. Sophie grabbed Max's collar, her heart pounding. "What is this? What's happening?" she cried as the ground vanished beneath her feet. The wind howled, and a voice, soft and purposeful, echoed through the blinding light. "To those who seek, the wise will guide." The light erupted in a dazzling flash and whisked them away.
Like and subscribe to join the adventure, and check out the links below for more magic.